Good morning, everyone. Hope you all having a wonderful day so far. It's about 40 degrees out today with a little bit of wind. Today we're going to work on my sister's 2012 Malibu. It broke down on her way to work one day. Ended up, one of the cells in the battery had died. We got it tested. I got that replaced, but the battery still won't charge. And I believe the alternator is bad, so we got us a remanufactured one from Rock Auto. It's an AC Delco. We're gonna get that installed. It looks like we're gonna need a 10, a 13, and a 15 millimeter wrench and socket, and then a 1/2 inch breaker bar, or I have a serpentine belt tool that I'm going to use. So I put a multimeter on the battery to check and see if the alternator was charging, and it would run fine at idle. The alternator was just able to keep up to where it would keep it about 11.8 volts, which is just enough to keep it running. However, once you started giving it some throttle, the battery light would come on and it would start to stutter and it would try to die. So I've concluded that the alternator is going to need replaced, which is why we ended up getting the new one. So what we're going to have to do, we're going to disconnect the negative terminal of the battery here, and then I'm going to take this hose clamp loose and go ahead and pull that little breather off, and I'm going to pull that boot off there. I'm going to pull this whole pipe out. There's supposed to be a bolt there, but that's missing. So I'm going to go and pull those out, and then we're going to work on taking the air box off. Alrighty, hopefully my mount doesn't fall. I'm trying out a different camera angle here today. Got a suction cup on the hood of the car. Disconnect that clamp there. Do this clamp here. Cut there. Go. I'm just gonna sit this off to the side. I did forget to mention, there are two covers that are supposed to be on here. One goes right here. There's a rubber one and there's a plastic one that sits in front. All you have to do to be able to get those off, you just pull the oil filler cap off, you pop the front plastic one off, and you can pop that other one off, and then you just want to make sure you put the cap back on so that no debris gets in your motor. So now we're just going to pop this cover loose like so. Trying to remember how this wiring is supposed to work here. I have a feeling I'm going to be putting this mount back up here a lot. So what we're going to do, we're just going to, now that I got that disconnected, we're going to pull that off, set this off to the side, and before we go any further, I'm going to disconnect the negative terminal on the battery here. It should just be a 10 millimeter. So now we have one bolt way back here. There's a 10 millimeter right there. Now unfortunately we're going to have to take this radiator hose off. So what I'm going to do, I have this radiator hose clamp. What I'm going to do, I'm going to clamp this so as little fluid comes out as possible. that ain't good. There should be coolant in there. Oh, there may be more problems yet. Alright, so we gotta take this engine stabilizer off. So we're gonna have to pull those 2 bolts. So you can't break those free with a breaker bar. I'm just gonna be smart about it. And use a good old impact. You can pull that guy off, that one there. This guy's just gonna pivot off to the side like that. Alrighty, now, if I can, right here's the tensioner. And make sure you take note of your belt routing before you disconnect here. And I'm just gonna leave that right there. It's in a nice and safe spot. So now, for the fun job, we're gonna bend this hose back here. Actually, scratch that, we're gonna go here first. Now we've got a 13mm nut to take off there, and then there's an electrical connection right here. And then I'm just gonna take this 10 off, 13. That on there, like so. Loosen her up. Don't drop that. Pull that off. Now all the electrical connections are off. So we're gonna have 2 bolts up top, 2 bolts on the bottom. They should be 15s. Bust them free with good old 3/8 breaker bar. Move that guy over there. Bust this one free. Alright. We have this idler pulley here that has to come off, because it's got a through bolt into it. Alright. So I stand corrected. There's only 3 bolts. There's these 2 on the top, and this idler pulley is the 3rd one. So we're just going to take a 15mm wrench. Where did I just sit that? Here it is. Mine's ratcheting. It doesn't have to be, but it just makes quick and easy work of this. So when you get a new alternator, you're going to want to match these up. You're going to want to make sure that the new alternator right here matches the old one. Now it appears to me that they do. You want to make sure that you want to make sure that all the electrical connections are in the same spot, the pulley's oriented in the same spot, the ears for mounting are in the same spot and raised properly. This one is. So I'm going to put the new one in. This old one's going to get returned to Rock Auto for a core. Get some of the money back. And anyway, let's just get this put back on. On this back in here. It's always the hard part, is getting it back in. So we gotta balance it right there. I'm gonna take this bolt here, fish it in here like so. Find the bolt hole. Don't cross thread it. You want to be able to put it in by hand so you'll know it's in the right hole. Alright. This one here. Fish it underneath the radiator hose so that it'll support the hose still. Fish it in. And then find its hole. I'm going to maneuver over to here. Looks like it's already started a little. Alright, there's those two. I want to go ahead and get this guy started before I go any further. So you're going to go like this. We're going to have to push the alternator back to its mounting surface. Make sure that that's rocked where it's supposed to be. We go ahead and put the belt behind it where it's supposed to be. Or how it's supposed to be, and get to threading this in. Alrighty. I'm going to get these two guys snugged up. We're not going to torque them down yet, just because we have that idler pulley one to do still. But we want to get this tight enough to where it'll keep it flat on the face, on the mounting surface here, so we can make sure that the idler pulley is seated properly. And you want to make sure that when you put the idler pulley back in, that you have its spacer on the back side and the thin little shim washer on the front of it where it's supposed to be, so that it sticks out the correct amount and doesn't get caught on anything. Here. Feels like they changed the size on us. Yep, they changed the size. Alright, I will be right back with a different socket. They did change the size of the nut. It's a 12 now instead of a 13. You don't want to go crazy with these because you can strip these out real easy, but you want to get them nice and snug. Make sure you put this rubber boot back over it so it protects it from the heat. And then just reconnect your electrical plug there. Now, I'll flip that back over. We are going to reattach our engine stabilizer right here. Oh, actually, before we do that, we got to put the belt back on. Usually that's the last thing you do, but on this car, it's kind of important. All right, so you're gonna pull that. Don't pinch your fingers here. You wanna. So now we'll put this up back on. Now that everything's back where it's supposed to be. set my multimeter here. 20 volts. It shouldn't cross over 20. We're gonna hop in this car here. Go ahead and grab the key from my pocket. Start her up. Alright, running good. Gonna take the multimeter. See how well I can film this here. Alrighty guys, so I think I can get this stuck right here for a moment. And as you can see, it's charging. It's not running real good, but it's charging now at least. Well, there we go guys. It's all buttoned up. Looking good. All put back together. It was actually pretty easy to do. It took probably about 45 minutes or so. And that involved me getting out the tools. You know, like I said, 10, 15, and 13 millimeter. And then depending on what alternator you get, you might end up with a 12 millimeter nut on the back of it. But it was pretty simple. You just had to take a couple different things off. Kind of crazy how much we really had to take off in order to get the alternator off and back on. But it was actually really simple to do. Thought someone was here. But it didn't take real long. It was pretty simple, pretty easy. I really hope you guys learned something. And I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys very much for joining me. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, whatever time it is there. I still got quite a bit of my day ahead of me. It's not even 10 o'clock yet. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you liked this video. Think about subscribing if you like automotive content. And I'll see you guys next time.